Hey guys, it's Super here, and today we'll be building Kaine. So let's take a look at what he needs. And he is damage over time damage dealer, although he does do some direct damage. You can see each of his abilities has a portion of direct damage and also damage over time. However, primarily he will be wanting attack and mastery for this burn damage portion of his damage because he doesn't have any piercing or defense down related effects. His direct damage portion of skills will likely do less damage than the, the damage over time effects. So once again, he wants attack and mastery, but most importantly, he actually does want 3000 speed, and that primarily is because of his passive effect over here, which gives him a bunch of attack for his initial speed being over 2500. Once again, 3000 is ideal. And additionally, he does get some additional turn meter based on his additional speed above 2000 up to 3000 once again. So let's raise his exclusives to his level to the max, and then let's use eggs to awaken him to exclusive 5, of course, or awaken level 5 instead, is what I meant. And we're not holding back at all over here. Let's bring him to level 150, and then we'll bring him straight to breakthrough 8. So I've been pretty diligent in saving my breakthrough materials to ensure that I'm able to breakthrough 8 him right away. So you can see that over here. Breakthrough 6 used to be the highest, but of course with the recent update we now have breakthrough 8, and I managed to just barely save enough of these rare soul lanterns to get him to level 8. And of course, I also managed to get enough soul fire to bring him straight to level 190. So reaching there, this costs 11,500 soul fire, I believe. And now he's level 190. Let's of course not to forget to level his skills. And for his exclusives, I'm going to hold off for now because I like doing a test where I test him at each of his exclusives, and that's a video you can look forward to fairly soon. Next, let's look at his echo. Let's equip it over here, and of course let's max out the level. And once again, I've managed to save enough of these echo XP materials to bring it straight to level 30. Me having all these different materials is very intentional, and I did make a video on how I prepare for these limited time hero releases. And the way I do it, of course, is to make sure that I have all these materials saved to try and level everything out instantly. So unfortunately, the Echo's only 2 stars. Hopefully I'll get maybe 3 or 4 stars by the time the banner leaves the summon pool. But for now, 2 stars is all we have. As for blessings, I am going to actually put some of my stronger speed blessings I have on him. And one thing I was actually looking to remove from one of my characters is this speed on Boreas. I wanted to replace this with a 59 speed and move this 60 to our Kaine. But for now, let's just put 59 on our Kaine over here. So I do have these blessings already. You can see 2 A59 speed blessings, which is really nice because the highest for A mythic speed is 60. I do have 2 S mythic speeds over here, 70 and 87, but both are on our Apsara. Now for this slot, there's several good blessing choices. So mastery is going to be decent, attack rate is going to be decent as well, skill damage will be good, and besides that, burn damage is going to be very useful as well. So I'm kind of undecided which one I'm going to use yet. I do have this as burning damage bonus, which is nice. I have, of course, I believe some skill damage ones over here, which is going to be good as well. I'm still kind of thinking about it, so for now I will leave this blank, but I've just mentioned some of the options you guys can consider. And we of course need to max out his emblem, so we need to get some energy. Let's see if that's enough. I think let's just go to the event store and get a little bit more energy just to make sure that we have enough. Then now we can go to the Altar of War, put our Kaine in, and just complete the stage, like so. And so what we'll do now is we'll go to our emblems, and I've already calculated the stats that I want him at, primarily for the 3000 speed, which is not an easy goal for a damage dealer especially. And so I will want to go for this speed track over here. So I don't think any of his skills require effect hit. Let me just take a look. I don't believe there's anything that we actually have to land, right? Like these effects are guaranteed. So over here we can take HP, and then we of course will build attack tree as the secondary one. So let's work on the attack tree first. Let's increase our damage over time damage, our total damage. Let's see, increase self damage over time, and direct damage. So he actually benefits from both direct and damage over time. Damage increases as well as mentioned, but I believe damage over time increases will be better. So before the end of the first turn, direct damage increases, or we get this for every target killed. I'm not really sure which one is going to be better here. Maybe we can just use this one. I can always change the emblems for free once if I have to. Next, let's increase our damage over time. All damage increase is going to be good. Over here, once again, all damage increase, damage over time. And we're not going to be taking this tree. We're going to be taking the 75 speed over here. So let's see what we can take from here. Let's get this reduced damage. Let's get... Effective is not going to be really useful. I guess we could get this. I mean, this isn't really going to do anything either. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. Let's take effect hit. Turn meter reduction, he's already immune to, so no point taking this. Healing effect, shield effect, not really useful. So let's get this cooldown reduction. Once again, effect hit, not useful. This is remove control effects, which I think he's already immune to on one of his exclusives, right? Exclusive tree. So let's see. There's two things he's immune to, and I can't remember. Yeah, so immune to control effect over here if he's at least the second highest speed on your team. So no point taking that either, so let's take the increased speed. And for the last slot, let's get the 75 speed. So this is the gear so far. I actually skipped the aura, and I forgot to talk about this because I'm going to wait for some other players to test it. Of course, that includes myself, and it's not good to invest into an aura so early when we are not 100% sure what's optimal on him. So for now, I'll just give Mastery Expert over here. But what you can see is I've been stocking up on these Eternal Sec runestones. I have 12,000, which is a decent amount. And once we decide which Legendary Echo is best, of course, I'm going to shift over to that and level it as much as possible. But in my opinion, there are a few main options which are possible. So the first would be, Arena Dominator. I think this is most likely going to be the best aura for him. Besides that, versatility is of course always going to be strong on any damage dealer. And besides that, maybe we can use Shield Smash if we want a more direct damage focused build. The piercing rate will be more useful. However, once again for now, I'll be holding off, but my prediction is we will be using Arena Dominator on him. So now, perhaps most importantly, let's talk about gear. And once his mark and his faction was announced, I actually did prepare gear for him already. And that's going to be this Kaine preset right here. I did my testing on Carry, which has the same tags as him, so we can see Carry is also Eternal Sec, Yellow Mark, and Attack type. Of course, she has different base stats, so it does affect the stats that I end up seeing when testing on Carry, but I've already did the math, and this should be the optimal gear that I'm using. So let's take a look at what we have together. Once again, we want to focus Mastery, Attack, and Speed primarily. So we have this book, we're running half Bone Erosion and half Devouring set. So actually, in order to hit the 3000 speed threshold, having something like double Bone Erosion will be better because I'll get double of this speed buff over here, this +8 speed. But I don't have any good pieces with speed substats on my chestplate and my accessory over here, so I realized that running half Devouring set was actually going to be faster than running one, or rather a full Bone Erosion set. So for the weapon, I have +2 speed at 95, which is pretty nice, and +2 attack rate. The effect hit isn't really useful here, but of course, I don't have any better pieces. For this one, once again, +2 speed, +2 attack rate, which is nice. For the boots, +4 mastery, which is really nice. The crit damage is not really very useful here, unless I get the low chance of critting with Kaine's attack. And then for the accessory, +3 speed, +2 mastery. Maybe one of the best pieces I have over here. Really, really nice. Then I have this A1 artifact. So actually for this one, I would want, if possible, to have I would want to have possible a mastery main stat, or even potentially a crit rate main stat. However, for mastery, I don't have any good mastery plus speed pieces, so I do have to replace it with this attack one with a nice speed substat. But if people do decide that building crit rate alongside mastery and attack is useful on Kaine, which I don't have super high hopes for, but definitely is possible, then I can shift over to using another artifact over here, which is currently on my Marie. So I could use this instead. Crit rate means that with very nice speed and attack rate. So this would be perfect if we do decide going on crit rate centric, or at least more crit rate on our Kaine build. Otherwise, this will suffice for now until I get a very nice mastery main stat with speed A1 artifact piece, which I do not have currently. Then for my A2 artifact, this is a really nice one. Attack main stat with nice speed, attack rate, and mastery. Basically every single thing that we want. It doesn't get any better than this. This is a fantastic piece. And lastly, for our speed piece, for A3 artifact, we have mastery plus 3. Not the most ideal, of course. We have plus 2 crit damage, which isn't too useful. Ideally, this could be maybe on something like attack rate. However, I don't have any better pieces, so this will do fine just for now. And so with all this combined, let's see our stats over here. We're at 2892 speed, which is pretty good. And when we have exclusive 5 with 50 additional speed from each exclusive for a total of 100, we will have 2992 speed. And we can make up the remaining speed amount from our Tower of Mark Talents over here. And it won't take too long for us to get the very desired and elusive 3000 speed. Besides that, our attack is perhaps leaves more to be desired at only 52,000. If we compare that to some of my other damage dealers like Marie, you can see I'm at 61,000, which is a lot higher. However, with the really high stat requirements for Kaine, especially the speed, I'm pretty happy with this, and I will get some stats from leveling the exclusives and from Aura eventually when I level it up as well. As for mastery is pretty low, at least for my standards. 144% isn't too amazing, but once again, if I do eventually swap to a A1 artifact with mastery main stat over here, that will be a lot of free mastery that will be given, an additional 38.4%. So these are all just improvements that can be made over time. But for now, I'm very happy with this build. I will get to that 3000 speed eventually with my exclusives. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's all we have for today, and I'll see you guys next time.